Hey everybody, it's Matt again here. I am so pleased that I jumped on the idea of rolling out a sketch format video like this, because this year I am just having so many ideas that I haven't had time to really finish anything at all. And I'm heaps been doing the garden, as you'll see from the MARKETQUEST videos, and sketching up some stuff right here is just an effort to connect a bunch of tangled stuff that is getting all twisted up, trying to fit through the tube of my brain, because I just wanted to continue to use these sketches to introduce the ideas of social realism that I'm activating for my games. And the main game I am working on is called Squat Squad. And I had planned to get some of the abandoned buildings I've stayed in and get a vibe around that for you, and what it's like living in your car. But what's been happening is that in summer I was working on my new romantic TikTok DJ mix video, which was called Roto Tuned Up, and once I finished shooting all of it, suddenly I was sitting there down in the Roto Tuner McDonald's with AI, just playing around, because I needed to have a look at this, and seeing all the ideas just generated immediately, I was pretty blown away. I know it's not perfect, it's still sloppy, but there is so much to work with for someone like me who is all about ideas, concepts, and vision. So on the MARKETQUEST videos, you'll hear me talking about the amount of food that is slowly beginning to grow naturally around my property, and how finally that is making it more realistic that we could really tune into the big ideas I had in coming here in the first place, that I can do a lot on a big property that serves our connections in the city. I can grow the fruit, but because I've always made decent money doing kids' birthday parties as a pirate, I started having all these ideas arriving and twisting together about this gimmick type of mascot character, a cosplay character, a gaming character I could play to engage with people, before immediately I realized how perfect this was for doing a market stall, and based where I am in Huntley. I have got lots of different markets going on each week in different towns, where within about 40 minutes drive there's Frankton and Claudelands and Hamilton, there's Thames, Cambridge, Pukekohe, and the Pocono market has now moved to the highway on Mercer to pick up that Auckland traffic. So I pretty much spent all of March, I was checking out what was going on with a lot of markets, and just generally a lot of what's going on in Hamilton where there's foot traffic, where I can engage with people and sell my berries, because I've just begun planting so many berry bushes all over my 2.5 acre property, so that in probably a couple of years, summer after summer, I'm going to have all these berries to sell, while at the same time really trying to push ahead with my indoor grow setup. You'll see behind me, doing my strawberries, basil, tomatoes, other strictly summer crops, but it's not going incredibly well because I'm pretty distracted by how much I've got going on. I'm checking out these markets, I'm developing this character, I've got this idea of Forbidden Fruit as an excellent name for the store, and any business connections that could grow out of that, and generally saying not just fruit, but pulling that together with a health vibe that I'm pushing with those romantic TikTok dance throwdowns, but because I was already bringing in the cosplay with this evil character who was represented as Snakey or Snacker, who is kind of a gothy, gamer punk, Rocky Horror style character, and engaged with people at the market to sell the fruit. I was also cooking this whole vibe of gamer nerd appeal by offering special items and posing myself as a vendor in a LARP type context. So any nerds into the gamer cosplay type culture instantly recognize that role that I'm playing. It's fun. You engage with the kids. This is what people come looking for on Saturday morning when they come to the markets. Now branding is a kind of a hell pizza type of vibe, but I saw immediately the strong recognition of specifically the Forbidden Fruit story, which features some adult themes, nudity, and that I'm already pretty well pretty advanced in these ideas as performance concepts, that is the villainous character, and that I was trying to bring special connection with Hamilton and introduce a Rocky Horror Blackadder type character. And because I spent so long playing the bloody Jolly Jack Sparrow pirate doing kids' birthday parties, the playful ideas around being a bad guy or a naughty boy and the riffs that come out of that, this is pretty well known to me. If I was doing any of this because I wanted to make money, I would go back to doing the kids' parties. But the reason I love this bad guy, snakey character, especially as a business mascot, is that he embodies a rebellious and chaotic energy that promoting the product does not mean I'm running around in a funny weird costume because it's my job as part of a commercial enterprise. I could make more money doing something else. I'm doing this because it's fun. I am pretty much entertaining myself and just trying to sell the berries I grew on my little farmlet. And what I found is that you may know the Hamilton Gardens are really worth a visit and very busy on the weekend. And once again, I was there observing that unlike half of Europe, there is no one there selling anything to the tourist horde, and the concepts I'm drawing on for the Forbidden Fruit brand, of course, are a perfect fit for the gardens. And instantly I think of Ukraine, where on the first day I got there, I met a guy in a furry costume by the name of Marks, and it was his job with his crew to take photos with the tourists passing by the square, and he slings some weed and various other illegitimate hustles, and just how easy it is to engage the tourists who are just pulling in and they want their photo taken with the funny character and then to be hustled into buying some overpriced stuff. When I look at ideas I have on hold, that I mentioned in the Barn Art Quest sketch I just did for preceding this, I've still got my maritime battery and my big speaker here waiting for the inverter I need to have my basic mobile DJ set up. And of course this is going to be totally beef up my market presence. And what pulls me in about Hamilton Gardens is it's a pleasing atmosphere. When you might be already kind of stressed and self-conscious trying to get equipment or product displays set up, it's a nice relaxing atmosphere, a nice relaxing garden. But I was already getting deep into this game of LARP concept of special items, and it was on Good Friday that I came into town to get some more plants from the Bunnings clearance table, as I do, and realised it was closed also. I'm trying to remember what set me off. I think it was at the Taupery truck stop, stopping and grabbing my cardboard from my garden, when I noticed there was a skip there full of surplus being thrown out from a shop refit, and there was tons of awesome stuff, including this massive 6x3 meter banner, and it just says pizza, and fake granite bench tops, fake wood panels, and this stuff was so much better than the usual junk I've got lying around in my garden. And suddenly it hit me, there are way better things than cardboard I can use to stop weeds on my property that people are just throwing out into the bins all over town. And even though I hadn't done any work on finishing some of these projects, suddenly now I'm going headlong into these bins and into this bin diving episode, and everywhere I'm noticing free stuff, and that it is all starting to roll into a big ball with some of the minimalist videos I was doing. Because on one hand you've got the markets idea, which gives you the opportunity to put a price tag on anything that you own and go sell it on Saturday or Sunday morning. And then you've got this gamer LARP where you can take any piece of trash and tell people it's a magical game item and with special powers, and this connects back to the NFT thing of defining things with artificial scarcity, fan merch, the idea of something possessing artificial inflated value that the buyer accepts totally within the context of the sale. It might seem totally counterintuitive that I spent all this time making videos about getting rid of all kinds of junk, and now literally getting into bringing carloads of junk home, because as I've begun to get into the dumpster diving and the idea of special items, which you might imagine the defining special item in this example in gamer lore would be the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings. And it's all about how you decide to define the value of things. I noticed a big pile of mulch down at the park in Hamilton. So I started helping myself. Soon enough, after a few times, some dickhead wants to try to hit me up about what I'm up to and pretty much told him to piss off. But later on it occurs to me that the reason this mulch is there is because there's 2 massive stumps and 2 massive trees have been chipped, and it's pretty much only there because no one's bothering to take it away. It is a question that you ask in minimalist inquiry and also in asset trading about the fundamental nature of value. What is something worth? And this is where I'm just getting hit by waves and waves of concepts that I was pretty tired in April and still not able to finish any work because I'm seeing these people, they are unhappy when they see that I am climbing into their trash to grab some stuff that's going to be great in my garden, or setting up some greenhouse type structures that protect my trees and plants. And I think even 2 guys from Kmart came and fronted me and told me to get out of the bin there. But now I'm starting to find stuff that I can actually sell at the markets and all sorts of crap. You can easily just say, well, this is a special magic item, and it's all a bit of a giggle, but it's absolutely delighting me because some trash I found in the bin is now something that I'm going to be able to sell to some tourist at the Hamilton Gardens who wants their photo taken with the snakey character and get some trinkety magic item hustled on them in exchange. And that's where I find so many things I engage with about minimalism, finding a new expression, and that something of no value that was in the trash has now been upcycled into something that has value simply in the context that I have placed it into. These concepts are at the core of my thoughts on minimalism and consumerism, and the main game idea I've been working on, which is called Squad, and has a very in-depth and strategic musical chairs aspect in that there is never enough squats for all the homeless characters in the game, and how the concept of dumpster diving interacts with the values in that game where your character is trying to move up from homelessness. That's the social realism I've spoken about before that I want to see in my games, and excited about the idea that there's this villainous Mr. Bean, Blackadder type character, and he's in all the bins in Hamilton, and he's a terrible guy, and he slings drugs and porn, and he tries to sell stuff from the bin as gamer nerd knickknacks, and I think that this is a great character. A complete anti-hero who is nasty and bizarre and quite compelling. So I'm under the weight of a lot of ideas right now. This crazy character, a lot of fruit I'd like to sell, and the games I'm working on, trying to figure out what is the real value of things like cardboard and old carpets and vinyl flooring and even cow shit is, because what this trashy rubbish that no one wants, but they still get angry if I want it because it contradicts their consumerist values. Well, it's actually taking me towards increasing progress in my garden, growing fruit, getting lots of resourceful techniques for landscaping, and I really enjoy the idea of the Hamilton Gardens because it's a great spot and it's near impossible for anybody to stop you hawking stuff because the place is so massive, especially if you become a beloved themed character. But I was looking at a map of the gardens, figuring out where the best places to sell stuff would be. And I started to recognize just how much of the map of the gardens looked just like the map of some game, or Game of Thrones, or something like that. And suddenly all these ideas I had about playing this game-type cosplay character and the games I'm working on started coming together, seeing that you could do a real, honest LARP at the Hamilton Gardens based on strategy games, controlling territories, feudal hierarchies, and the good old role play stuff with princesses and monsters, and of course don't forget the berries for health and special items, all kinds of weird trinkets that you can find down at the op shop. Well, now if you want to be Lord of the Rose Gardens down at the Hamilton Gardens in the Hamilton Gardens LARP, well, you just need to buy enough berries and trash trinkets. I'm sure it'll be all yours. Finally, all this dumpster diving, I feel, brought me closer to something I really want to build into, and that is rehabilitating squats and derelict buildings into more useful and pleasing garden spaces. So yeah, it's funny to have a whole big bunch of ideas in your head, so many that you can't barely get nothing done. But it's pretty funny to think I could be running around the Hamilton Gardens dressed as some evil Rocky Horror Blackadder space druid selling special magic gamer items and berries, because it's all part of some crazy game, because that's what I said it was, and that's what you get when you taste forbidden fruit. To know what God knows, to see as God sees. Well, it's like I've said, once you figure out what the universe wants, you probably rather wish that you hadn't.